This Big Ten on CBS Postgame Report is presented by Belfort Property Restoration. And Indiana all over Maryland in this one. That's Devin Boykin, 32-yard scoop and score. First fumble return for a touchdown since 2022 for the Hoosiers. And man, this was a clinic for Indiana. The number 2 team in the country, scoring on 8 straight drives after scoring 0 points on the first 2 drives. And they remain undefeated as we welcome in former Ohio State standout Beanie Wells and former Dallas Cowboys quarterback Ben DiNucci. And man, this Indiana team looked good. Beanie, I know you can appreciate what they did on the ground, 370 yards, and Maryland had basically nothing.
Had no answer for it whatsoever. This is a championship caliber football team. Yep. We all know that. And Fernando Mendoza didn't go out and have the great game. And back in September when I was here last with you, you were saying Heisman then for Fernando Mendoza. But today it was the run game that they led on and they leaned on, and they were so dominant in the trenches. Roman Hemby and Black, those guys, I already knew that they were one of the best two-headed monsters in the country. Today they just went out and proved that on this stage by dominating Maryland.
That's the thing that impresses me about this team. You heard Curt Cignetti talk about it after the game. The ultimate complementary football team right now. 590 total yards, 370 on the ground. The defense forced 5 turnovers. I know as well as anybody else, Coach Cignetti's got these guys ready to roll. Nameless, faceless opponent every single week. They don't care what the score is. They play every single play like it's the last play. So Indiana came out, took care of business today. And it doesn't hurt when that's your 5th time scoring 40 points as an offense this year. So credit to those guys. Awesome game. IU's got it rolling.
They had 5 turnovers in this game, did Indiana, as they create that. I mean, when you talk about championship-level teams, as you said, being able to clamp down and get turnovers. And look, we know Maryland isn't an upper echelon team, but this is still a Big Ten team, and you're going on the road and you're looking to take care of business on a day when Fernando Mendoza didn't necessarily have it through the air.
A couple of things you're going to have to be a championship caliber team. That's going to be a tough run game, a tough defense, and you're going to have to win the turnover margin. And they showed that today, the ability to go out and do that. We've talked so much about Indiana's offense and Fernando Mendoza and the wide receiving core. We've slept on their defense. Those guys have been dominant and consistent all season long. So it's about time those guys start getting some kudos, because they're part of the reason why Indiana is sitting in the position that they're in right now.
Absolutely. They're on a collision course to face Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. 55-10 is the final from College Park. Again, Indiana with its 5th game of the season with 50 points, most in school history. Curt Cignetti now 20-2 in his 2 seasons so far at Indiana, coming in and changing the culture. And boy, they opened up a can on the Terps. Get back out to College Park. Welcome the man who called this game, Gary Danielson. Gary, you saw this team about a month ago against Oregon, and they were able to get a massive win there. This win, what did it tell you about Indiana? Have you seen their development throughout the last couple of weeks here?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess I thought their team was built a little differently, and the more you see it, the more you know that it's built wide, it's built now deep. Have you seen backups playing? They really don't have a weakness. They're more athletic than people give them credit for. Obviously, you saw they're well coached, and now as they overcome key injuries to maybe their 2 biggest playmakers, Aiden Fishers and Surratt, I mean, pretty darn impressive. Maryland just did not have enough to give them any part of a football game. The Penn State game will be very interesting.
When you look at their schedule, there's not a ton of resistance rest of way for Indiana. And what lines up here is a collision course against Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. You've seen Ohio State. How do these 2 teams stack up 1 versus 2 right now?
So I don't think it'll be a walkover at Penn State. Penn State's going to be excited to play the football game, an opportunity to knock off IU and give them a loss. IU is thinking, we want to go into the championship game against Ohio State undefeated. So if we get knocked off by Ohio State, if we win, great, we got to bye. If we get knocked off and it's our only loss to the number 1 team in the country, we still may get a home playoff game. So it's very important that they finish off the season the right way, but don't sleep on Penn State here. I think it'll be a tough matchup for this IU football team.
You're absolutely right. You cannot get tripped up on some of these opponents. We've seen that happen time and time again. Any given Saturday, we say that here on CBS. So, Gary, you're absolutely right about that. But, hey, if both these teams, Ohio State, Indiana, meet undefeated, what a game that would be for you to call on CBS in the Big Ten title game. It would be an absolute doozy.
I'd like to do it. We're not doing it this year, but it will be a doozy no matter who does it. And the way IU has rebuilt the program, I mean, they've earned every step of the way, and this team is better than last year's team. Think about it. Their Heisman Trophy quarterback is barely throwing 25 times a game, and they're rolling over people, and he can do a lot more, and he may to beat Ohio State. He may have to beat Ohio State.
Those two quarterbacks 1-2 in Heisman voting odds, so we will see how it all shakes out. Gary Danielson here with us on CBS Sports HQ. Gary, thanks.
Thank you.
A massive win for Indiana. They beat the Maryland Terps by 45 points, tied for the third largest win in Indiana history on the road. Look at Fort Knox in 1942. 51 and then in 45 at Minnesota, 49 points. And here we are in 2025, a dominant win on the road against Maryland, their fifth game this season with 50 or more points. That is most in school history.
Hey, Coach, you said you wanted to put a dagger in this one. You feel like you accomplished that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, defense created 5 turnovers tonight. They were number 1 in the country going in the game in turnover ratio. Offense rushed for 370 yards. And those are 2 big things, and it's a good win.
You start this game without Fisher. Elijah Surratt goes down. Turner goes down. In the fourth, you have your second stringers, and you did not miss a beat. How does that speak to the depth of this program?
Well, I mean, there's some areas we're thin. Don't get me. But the one thing our guys do, they play every play like it's nothing, regardless of the score. I give them a lot of credit for that. So that was good to see.
You talk about standard over scoreboard. How did that show up today?
Well, it showed up in the fourth quarter. And then you got a guy like Devin Boykin goes in from rover to free. Very first play, strips a guy, picks it up, runs for a touchdown. And then Baldwin, who went in at rover the very next play, right? He strips a guy, fumble. So, a lot of good stuff, but things to clean up.
Good stuff. Great win. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
I always love it when a head coach says things to clean up. Nothing's ever perfect. It isn't. Like, football's a hard game each week. There's mistakes to be cleaned up, but I'll tell you what, when they look at this tape, they're going to be pretty proud of the performance they had and pretty proud that they continue to make school history 9-0 in back-to-back seasons for the first time in program history. And we talk about how Curt Cignetti has changed the culture in Bloomington. He certainly is putting his money where his mouth is, continues to rack up wins for the Indiana program. Our back here in studio, Belfour Property Restoration. That's what CBS Sports HQ is presented by as we continue our Big Ten on CBS postgame report. Beanie Wells and Ben DiNucci. And Ben, you know better than most because you played for Curt Cignetti. What's it like being in his program? What's it like being coached by him?
I just think first and foremost, every time you step in between the white lines, you know it's go time. You hear him. They scored 55 points today. He's saying we got things we got to clean up. So he expects excellence every single time you're on the field, whether you're guy 1 on the roster, guy 105 on the roster. Lets you be yourself off the field. That's, I think, appreciated the most about him. Let me be me off the field, but when it was time to do work and step in between the white lines, it was showtime. So nice to see him smile a little bit there in the post-game interview. We don't always get that out of him, so nice to see him show some personality. You
played for a blue-collar guy in Jim Tressel, so
Right.
you can appreciate the way Curt Cignetti coaches his team. Nothing is perfect. We came here to complete a mission.
No doubt about it. Last year they had a taste of what it was like to be a team, to kind of get some recognition, and kind of be nationally relevant, and they went out and got embarrassed versus Ohio State, then in the college football playoff. Now they're back with a vengeance. They not only want that taste of the pie anymore, they want the whole pie. So that right now this team is motivated, and they're loving being in the spotlight. You can tell with Coach Cignetti, he's not afraid of it. He's not afraid of the moment. You have to love the way that this team is playing. We talk so much about their offense, and I can't help but harp on the defense. I'm running down looking at their schedule. They had one game where they allowed over 20 points, and that was versus Oregon, and 7 of those points came from a pick 6. So in terms of stopping teams and shutting them down on the defensive side, they've been able to do it with the best of them, and nobody's been talking about that all season long. It's been about Fernando Mendoza and the wide receiving core and the running backs. Their defense is legit. We talk so much about the Buckeyes and Ohio State's defense. They're right up there with the top defense in the country, the way they shut guys down.
I think number one and number two are starting to separate themselves a little bit, here towards the end of the season. Ohio State, Indiana, ultimate complementary football, both teams, right? Elite quarterbacks, elite receiver rooms, and elite defenses. So anytime you've got that and elite head coaches, you're going to have a chance any given Saturday. So I've been really impressed with Indiana. They're leading the NCAA in scoring differential for the second straight season. It means you're doing something really, really good on offense. It also means you're doing something good on defense. So complementary football going on in Bloomington, Indiana.
We talked to Gary Danielson about the fact that this team doesn't have a ton of resistance coming up, right? They have Penn State, they have Wisconsin, and Purdue. And no disrespect to those teams. Those are Big Ten teams. Some of those teams you got to go on the road and play. But look, when you talk about running the table, Beanie, this is a perfect chance for Indiana to do something they've never done before.
Oh, there's no question about it. When you look at the Penn State, obviously they're a wounded team playing a young quarterback. They lost their head coach. They're just fighting just to kind of, stay competitive in games and not let the wheels come falling off entirely. You go to Wisconsin, you look at everything that they're facing there. They are on their second or third quarterback of the season. They can't get the ground game going. Luke Fickell is struggling there. And then, you look at just Indiana controlling their own destiny, controlling their own narrative. They're wanting to put their best foot forward and not just, be competitive in games. They're wanting to go out and annihilate people. And I think we're watching that right now. The rest of the way is going to be interesting to watch this Indiana football team and how they go out knowing that they're in position to be in the Big Ten championship and get to a college football playoff, how they go out and play with that in the back of your mind.
They're in uncharted territory. And I know one thing's for certain. Curt Cignetti every single week is going to say, guys, do not look past this game this week. We need to go 1-0 every single week. If we take care of business the next couple weeks, we got everything in front of us that we want to do. We got a rematch potentially with Ohio State from last year from the playoff. Let's handle business these next couple weeks and let the fun start.
But you've seen this team win in different ways, right? They played that game at Iowa. That game was tough, man, right? Like you're sitting there going, wow, they got to clamp down and figure out a way, and they found a way to beat Iowa. That was a tough team. They're a really good team. You saw them go against Oregon, and Oregon was lauded that they were going to put up a bunch of points. They hang with them. Then they'll play these close games like Iowa, and then they'll play some of these games where they'll just hang 50 on you, right? Like they scored 3 touchdowns in a span of 2 minutes and 6 seconds in the third quarter. You know who that sounds like? Ohio State. You know who that sounds like? Michigan in a couple years ago, where they can score quickly on you and they're going to make you forget, what just happened?
In boxing, they say styles make fights. Well, Indiana's a football team that can fight you any which way you want it.
Yeah.
However you want it, wherever you want it, they're going to take it to you. And they've been proving that this year with how they've been managing to get the things done that they need to. And they're winning their way. So no matter what, they're not conforming to anybody else. However they wake up and roll out the bed, that's how they're going out and they're beating you.
And I think that's been the impressive thing, right? For the first however many weeks of the year, it's been Fernando Mendoza, this air attack. Today, you see it, 370 yards on the ground. They were ripping off huge explosive games in the run game. And I think at this point in the season, that's what makes teams scary, right? If you're a defensive coordinator, how do I play these guys? Do I want to shut down Mendoza and these receivers? Do I want to shut down the running game? You're going to have to pick your poison. Indiana's proven they can beat you multiple different ways.
All right, time now for the Belfour Player of the Game, presented by Belfour Property Restoration. Beanie, you can go a couple different ways here. You can go defense, you go offense, you can find the running game. Who's your player of the game?
I'm going defense. I'm going Devon Boykin. I love the way that he was all over the field, obviously having that forced fumble, stripped it, and then taking it to the crib. I thought that was exciting for this football team. And when you got a team that can feed off of their defense and not just their offense, that get kind of scary.
Beanie, I'll take the running back for you. I'll go running back Kalen Black today. 14 carries, 110 yards and a touchdown, average 7.9 a carry. Anytime you can do that as an offense, gives the offensive coordinator ultimate trust. You get the run game going. It sets up play action, everything you want to do as an offense. So Kalen Black today, the powerhouse back in that backfield, unbelievable game, 8 yards a carry, not too shabby.
And when you can run for 8 yards a carry, that has to be like annihilating to the defense. It's just embarrassing. I mean, it's taking the gas out of them every single drive.
If you're Mike Locksley, head coach at Maryland, you're probably going to make some sort of sign that reads 367 to 37. Yeah. Outrushed. You're going to remind your players, hey, when we play them the next time, they outrushed us 367 to 37. Like, that's stuff that will stick in your mind. Those numbers right there, you'll go, oh, man, we got to figure this out, because that's an embarrassing, demoralizing number as Indiana hangs 55 on the Terps. And it has been a historic season once again for Curt Cignetti, his second season in Bloomington. Of course, led him to the college football playoff last year. Back-to-back 9-0 starts, and as I mentioned, he is 20-2 so far in 2 seasons at Indiana. And for people to sit here and think, oh, no, Indiana, they're having their fun. They're not a team to be reckoned with. You might want to check that, because Indiana is coming for that. If you know what I'm saying, the Hoosiers proving once again who's your daddy. It's Indiana.